Hello, today is Monday, September 24th, 2018. My name is Daniel Mullaney and I'm filming a video source inspection for SciTech Process Solutions. Today we'll be viewing a fully refurbished HTC 8030 box washer and cassette cleaning system. This box washer is going to a customer that is located on the East Coast, and this is the second box washer that they have purchased from us. This is going to be the second of two box washers that will be delivered, and is the second one purchased. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at the system, and we're going to go over it physically to review the refurbishment job that we've done. We're going to inspect all the different areas. During that process, we're going to hit an EMO at some point because we have interlocks preventing the system power from being on. It'll shut down, and when we're finished doing the review, we'll go ahead and get the tool fired back up and demonstrate a full process. So first, we're going to open up this top head assembly and show you the internal control workings. Actually, this is when we're going to EMO out. So as we opened it, this switch needs to be met in order to keep it going, and it powered down. So as you can see in here, the system has been fully cleaned out and tested. All the wiring is still nice and clean and in the correct location. Taking a look through behind this side, you can still see that the entire head casing has been taken attention to and cleaned out, refurbished, and any parts reinstalled as necessary. Next, we're going to move to the HTC chamber. This customer has a rack for both boxes and cassettes. This rack right here is going to be holding 6-inch cassettes, and this rack right here is going to be holding 6-inch boxes. We actually don't have the box that they are specifically going to wash in here. This is another 6-inch box, but it's pretty comparable. It'll work well. The only problem is that this box has a lip right here, which would have had a different design. So their box does not have the same type of lip and will have a little bit different drying experience. But other than that, it'll still work well enough for us to do our quality source inspection right here. Here we have a standard 6-inch rack, and this is going to be running the same type of cassettes that our customer processes with. So we're all set on this front. Taking a look inside the chamber, I'm going to move this to the other side so you can see. The inside of the chamber has been cleaned out on both sides. All four of the spray arm hubs, as you see right there, have been disassembled, inspected, and repaired or replaced as necessary. All of these spray arms are also tested, cleaned out, and inspected for function, because they rotate back and forth as drying like N2 spray arms during the dry cycle. The back has dampeners that have been tested and sealed, and they open up properly. And the back center drain catch area has also been cleaned out and is ready for processing. So I'm going to go ahead and move this back over. One more note is that the windows have been replaced and the door seal has also been replaced. This entire door is actually removed, worked on for an entirely new seal assembly and windows, and then replaced, and has no leaks. Next, we're going to take a look underneath the tool down here. So we've also cleaned out underneath our system. Inside of here, we're going to have our air heater, our pre-filter, and our HEPA filter. This is our DI recirculation pump, which was completely disassembled and rebuilt. Here's our air pump that's going to actually suck in the outside air and sends it through the filtration system. Over here we have our filters for our N2 spray arms, CDA or N2. As you can see, this entire area has been cleaned out. Okay, we're going to do a quick walk around this side of the tool. So here we have two of our power boxes. We're a little limited on space, as you can see, as we're kind of working our way over here, but I'll see if you can even see inside this guy. Both boxes have been cleaned out and all the components have been tested. Let's see here, there's a couple. So you might be able to see in there, you might not, but there's all the high voltage breakers inside this side, and the other side has some of the more low voltage or not necessarily voltage, but amp breakers. This is high amp breakers. The other side has low amp breakers. So, got to tighten this guy to ensure that our interlocks are again met, because just like the head casing, if any of these interlocks are not met, which there are several, the tool won't run properly. We have them inside of the breaker boxes here. We have it for the exhaust. There's another one for the head casing. There's one for the door. So there's really quite a few interlocks on this tool to ensure that it is overall installed and properly prepared for a successful process run. The last item that we'll show you right here is our Refurbished DI water heater. The front is currently off of this water heater, but it will be replaced with the front panel. We're just really a little limited on our total wiring length. So when this is hooked up professionally inside the fab, there will be a case or a front cover, and the wiring will have sufficient room through the top right here to hook up to all the components. All right, so now we're ready to run an official process. Now that everything is hooked up, I'm going to come over to our high voltage box. I'm going to hit the power on. We are now back to receiving power. One item that I did not discuss is this large transformer right here. This is Cytec's own transformer. It's converting 480 volts to the 208 that this tool runs on. So that's a part that's not included with the unit. All right, so now we're fired up on here. Let's see if we can get the camera going a little bit higher and get a little closer to the overall control unit. Okay, so here's the Fluoroware HTC control system. Let's go to the main menu first. If you hit complete cycle, you'll run your complete cycle. If you hit dry only cycle, you'll run the dry only cycle. In process timers, you can adjust the details for your run. So I'll give you an example. Let's change settings. User password for any process settings is all ones. Now you can kind of jump through the different options. This is already programmed for a successful cycle, so I'll just change the surfactant timer to 4 seconds. Simple as that. And we're going to go ahead and save. So now if you were to come to process timers again, you can see we're looking at 4 seconds. So it's pretty straightforward to change the recipe right there. It's only one recipe that saves on here. You can also adjust your temperature settings. We're going to come into our system menu. Here you can see your filter status, your manual mode, your system controls, password options. We're going to come into manual mode because this is the other feature that's used most frequently. Maintenance password, different than your process password, is all 9s. Here you can manually actuate any of the items on the tool. Just give you a quick example, you can hear the door lock go off right now. So that was the door locking right there. You can also turn on the dampeners, for example. I just heard them released from the back of the tool, as well as any of these other functions. You can also manual DI fill, do the mist, drain, DI heater, check the surfactant pump, really any of these items right here. So here you can check the light statuses and our air zone control. So this will be an important one for doing any of your air zone testing. It actually won't let you run manual mode when the door is open. So if you're going to do manual mode here, what you'll have to do is, see, it's acknowledging you cannot do the manual mode while the door is open. What you'll do is right here we have this door switch that needs to be met. If you push it in and turn sideways, it locks down. Now I can go to manual mode, 9999, and now I'm entered. And I can come in here and, for example, run one of the air knives. So I'll just do air knife zone 1. It'll be difficult for you to see, but I'll watch it. Yep, there you go. I can actually hear that one. And then motion. I just saw the 2 sets of air knives go. So this is a great way to ensure that all of your specific component functions are working well and you're getting a successful run, because it's difficult to know if one of these has failed without doing your proper PM and checkup on your unit. Okay, and we'll go ahead and exit. We're going to reset the switch, so now it's working properly. And we're going to go ahead and get a process run going. So we'll go ahead and close the tool right now. Press firm to ensure door latch. I just heard it latch. And we're going to go ahead and get going. So now all I got to do is run a complete cycle. Okay, so first step here is a DI fill. There's a DI fill sensor in the back, and it will fill for 75 seconds or until the fill sensor's been met. It'll be met at about 30 seconds remaining. So right now we're looking at a 45-second fill. You may have also noticed that the surfactant pump icon lit up for a second. That was the 4-second fill, or the surfactant spike that happened about 10 seconds in. It fills in a little water, spikes the surfactant, then fills the rest so it can mix and then work through the recirculation pump for a proper clean. Taking a look at the back of the tool over here, everything looks great. Everything's refurbished back here, and looks like we're going to have a successful run. We've already had successful runs for several days in a row now. This tool is really process ready. Okay, so now we're going to the process recirculation pump. If we had surfactant hooked up right now, which we do not, we just spiked with regular DI water. We do that to ensure, one, that the pump's working, but also so that the fill sensor in your surfactant pump is also responding properly. So we just had our first run right here. That would have been a surfactant dispense wash. That's how you're actually going to clean your cassettes. Now we're going to drain. It does a mist step right now where we're really just misting water all over the place to collect and pull down remaining surfactant that is included in the first wash. Now that the mist step is complete, while the drain is filling, we're going to get ready for two more cycles of rinse. So where the first step was a wash step, that's going to mix surfactant and recirculate through the system. Now we're doing rinse steps where we're going to be using fresh DI water to recirculate through. It does it twice to ensure that all that surfactant that may have lingered in the chamber is gone. After the first run, you're going to get the majority of the surfactant out, if not all of it. The second rinse is really a quality rinse to ensure that there are no lingering bits of surfactant in there. But it's kind of hard for you to see just through the camera, but you will notice that these windows are violently washing because this tool has a strong pump. I believe it's a 1/2 horsepower pump that recirculates this DI water and provides a lot of agitation inside the chamber, and really provides essentially, if it's working right, a perfect likelihood that the surfactant will be washed out. As you can see, it's a pretty violent wash in there. So we've got 30 seconds of this washing before we're going to drain, fill, and provide one more set of rinse. In addition to providing refurbished box washers, SciTech has also reverse engineered and sourced component providers for a majority of the parts for the HTC system. We custom build a lot of the parts, such as the spray hubs, and we can provide the solenoid valves, the Bimba cylinders, the refurbished pumps, filters, screens. Many of the parts that's used on this tool we can source and provide as spare parts and services. So now we're doing the drain timer. Unlike the fill timer, the drain timer does not have a sensor associated with it. Really, the assumption is that after 60 seconds of the drain remaining open, the system will drain out. My instinct tells me that there's probably a connection to the fill timer. If it doesn't see the fill or the fill sensor, if it doesn't see the fill sensor recognize it as being empty, then it might error out, but it still goes to all 60 seconds just to ensure that it all does leave. But that's actually a question I'm not sure about. I'll have to look into the manual to see if the drain timer does respond to the fill sensor. Now we're going into the fill. about 30 more seconds of fill before we're going to do our second wash here. Although Cytec provides high quality refurbished HTC box washers, our number one product that we provide to the semiconductor market is the Semi-Tool Spin Rinse Dryer. The semiconductor market is the Semi-Tool Spin Rinse Dryer. For the Semi-Tool Spin Rinse Dryer, we provide 100% of the spare parts and services required to keep your tool up and running. That's every single part and service. We're in our 30-second rinse 2 step right now. To keep your SRDs up and running. We also provide 100% refurbished SRDs with a 1-year warranty backed by a particle guarantee. And we also provide touchscreen controller upgrades for the unit that provide a variety of features. Most importantly, nitrogen savings, anti-static and N2 heater monitoring, and overall enhanced troubleshooting. All right, so we are draining now, so we have 60 seconds of drain. We just prepped the dry preheat, which is now turning on. So over the next 45 seconds while we're draining, we're also doing our dry preheat of the chamber. The total dry time setup for this process is going to be 40 minutes. So the dry time is the really lengthy part of the box washer system. It's really just like your dishwasher at home. It doesn't take long to clean the dishes. It's really the drying process that's the length of the whole process, or should I say, in better words, the drying step is the primary length of the entire process. All right, so now we're into the 40-minute dry. The way this works is pretty simple. You have your air heater, you have your blower, and you have your ionizer that are going to turn on at different times throughout the process. The air heater is currently on. There will be a set value of the dry temp in the chamber, which is 70°C. The air heater will remain on until the temperature of the chamber has reached 70°C, which it's looking for. The blower and the ionizer will turn on towards the end of the process and throughout. In order to do the drying, you have two drying functions. One is you have the outside air pull that goes through the pre-filter and then the HEPA filter that's going to create an arid environment inside the chamber. In addition to that, you have what are called air knives. There's 8 different air knife zones that are going to continually take turns operating. They take turns because they are fed by a line of N2 or CDA, and there's not enough flow to operate them all at once. And the reason being is that you need a very high pressure, a high flow in order to create a lot of pressure through any air knife that's operating, because the air knife's job is to oscillate back and forth and really kind of provide agitation to blow the water off of the cassettes, while the total chamber heating is going to provide you with a nice finished dry. So it's the combination of the two. You're going to oscillate through the air knife zones, or you're going to change between the air knife zones because they're oscillating one at a time. You're going to get the blow off and the whole chamber gets hot. So sort of reviewed a lot of information there about the HTC system. If you have any more questions, it's always best to give us a call, 916-797-9000. My extension is 2201. We'd be happy to discuss with you any more questions you do have about this tool, or any sort of box washing or spin rinse drying needs you might have. What we're going to do now is we have 37.5 minutes left of dry time. It's going to look just like this throughout the entire process, so we're going to go ahead and cut the camera for now, and we're going to bring us back online when we have about a minute left of dry time. At that point, we're going to finish up the dry cycle and then go into our essential cool down phase, which is something between 1 and 2 minutes. Then we'll be able to open up the chamber and inspect the cassettes. So we'll go ahead and pause right now, and for you it will just be a cut of a moment, and we'll be right back for the finish of this tool. Thanks. All right, and we're back. We have about 30 seconds more of dry time here before we'll be able to complete this process. As I mentioned before, we're also going to have a cool down time that's going to show up here after the process is done, and then we'll be able to inspect the product and close this guy up. I'm actually going to turn off one of these background lights, give you a little better viewing, I think. Okay. So now we're in our cool down timer that I mentioned before. It looks like it is 2 minutes. So right now we're really just running the blower and the ionizer. We're making sure that the chamber is deionized, that all the residual heat that's kind of built up in the chamber is pulled out so you're not hit with a big gust. I come to the back and I put my hand over the blower, and it's pretty warm. 70C is what it's spec'd out right here, and it sure feels like it. So I got about 80 seconds left here. All right, got about 10 more seconds left here before we'll be able to inspect the product. And we're complete. One thing that you'll notice is that it says acknowledge on here. You want to make sure that you hit acknowledge before trying to open it. It's intended to be locked until you acknowledge the complete. Oh, there it is. It actually takes a minute to click off. I forgot about that. I was getting a little eager here. So, first we have our box rack here. Everything's looked good, and actually, even though I mentioned the lip maybe having a little water on it, we're perfectly dry here. So, you know, even though it is not configured for this box, the chamber just gets, you know, pretty darn hot and took care of it on its own. Now we're going to pull out all of our cassettes here. Oh, these guys are nice and warm. This rack's actually a little bit warm right here to the touch. And we're nice and dry on these guys as well. Let me take a look at one of these guys in the back too. And this guy looks good. So that's great. We have a successful run here on the box washer as expected. You know, as I mentioned, be careful here. Like, you know, as you can see, I can leave my hand on here. It's not necessarily a intense hazard there, but you know, it was getting pretty hot before I finished. However, you don't do much handling of the rack afterwards anyways. You're really just removing product here. So go ahead and slide this guy back in. All right. So that is going to conclude our video source inspection for today. I appreciate you take the time to view it. Again, my name is Daniel Mullaney, and I filmed this video with the help of Jake Riffus for SciTech Process Solutions. If you'd like more information, again, our number is 916-797-9000, and to reach me directly, dial extension 2201. Thank you very much, and have a great day.